think we're live. Today I'm just going to do kind of like a quick overview or a re-review of the patch notes. So I already put a video out. I don't really feel like playing too much tonight, but I did want to keep the Monday, Wednesday, Friday stream setup kind of going. So here we are. Give me a sec. I was trying to figure out the mic. I think we're fine though. Let me bump this over. And then what do you see? Okay, you don't see that. That's good. Let me kill that. Sweet. So yeah, just put a video out showing how bloodletting got annihilated. I'm definitely going to have some issues finding damage, but I just wanted to go back over the patch notes, talk about anything that I missed or that I didn't really focus on in the other video. Just kind of hang out, see if anybody has any questions as they hop in throughout the night. But in the meantime, yeah, just kind of chilling. Really excited for the Fate of the Vol, and maybe I'll pull up some videos and stuff going over the temple mechanic, but I was a big fan of the Lake of Calandra map mechanic, actually. So, like, when you were going through the map, there'd be this little thing where you had to decide where you wanted to place essentially a room. So when it comes to the Fate of the Vol, similar thing, right? In the case of that, you get 6. On the Lake of Calandra, it was 1 per map. And it just kind of felt like a little puzzle. I'm somebody who does like the New York Times daily games every now and then. Wordle, not too much of a puzzle. They just released one that was called like Dips, I think. Um, and it's kind of like a domino style game. Stuff like that, where it's like a really small, like you jump in, you do a puzzle in like a minute, and then you bump out. Big fan of that kind of stuff. It looks like Jonathan was saying he was inspired by Loop Hero, which is another game that I really liked, and then literally designed. I tried to design my own game um, solely based on the mechanic, looking to like build it out, and then I just kind of I have a ton of like side projects that I just give up on. But in a same way that maybe he was like super inspired by placing stuff around a track that kind of worked, and it seemed cool that he added that in the game in the uh, new sort of Vol temple setup. Um, yeah, uh, really excited for this. Hoping it's not too intrusive in your sort of overall map flow. Um, Hope you don't have to wait around too much on the various Vol ruins that you spot in maps. And then Jonathan said something later in the Q&A, and I might honestly do like a Q&A wrap up. I'm going to be looking for videos. Basically, I don't know if I'll do it over the weekend, but I might do video every day going, up to launch Monday through Friday potentially. But that I feel like could be really strong because, dude, the first hour that Ziggy D Q&A, I don't know if they've done this in the past, but like that was fully self-serving for GGG. Like, I know a lot of people are excited about the Druid, but I did not have that many questions about the Druid. And they asked and talked about it for like half an hour. Then they moved on to the Fate of the Vol for about another half an hour before they actually started, talking about questions that from the community, or just more broad questions that Ziggy knew to ask, even if they aren't like the most concerning with the community. But yeah, it took a long time, so I would guess that a lot of people left before they got to the meat of the answers that players were looking for. But yeah, Mark talked about what was it? I was rambling too much. I think after you clear all 5 of the ruins, it shows everything on the map, something like that, right? So there it was either that or is the idea that once you clear 75% of any map, everything on that map is revealed to you. I think that's what they're going to be testing in 0.4, which is a huge change. Um, but yeah, they left it to the end. I don't know why they'd do that. That would be something I would highlight in the video. Maybe they were testing it; they didn't want to like commit, but like, yeah, that's huge. That would get some goodwill with the community. I think at this point in the league, or at this point in like how we're feeling about their promises versus what they actually delivered on. Um, Anyways, again, this isn't like a full review. This is like a live review. So it's just more of my thoughts as I go through. Again, in relation to the warrior class, primarily a smith player, and I'm hoping to play smith again on at least once throughout the campaign, into the end game, get a good grasp on what has changed. It doesn't seem like too much has changed though on the passive tree. I did see a little bit actually on like a second look over. Um, so there could be something related to fire that I'm not fully aware of yet. And well, I'll actually scroll down once we get to the Smith Ascendancy changes. I actually think maybe I overlooked something if I'm going to be rolling Smith. Again, I think it is going to be more of the fire warrior class now. Um, anyways, 10 new uniques. That is not, I mean, it says over 10. I don't know what that means. Over 10, but let's say around 10 uniques. The chances one of them is going to be good for a physical based melee build, or even just a fire slash fizz based melee build. Non-druid, I don't know. Especially if this includes the unique talismans, right, which are druid specific. So not as hopeful there. 8 new lineage supports. Maybe one of these will help, but none of them are ever going to go to the same damage levels that the bloodletting that we got in 0.3 is. So I'm expecting any of these to be like 40%. So we're not going to be able to replace our damage from supports. It's not looking like it's going to be from new uniques unless there's one like outlier unique, which they have consistently done, but they really haven't showed anything off yet, where I think Constricting Command is still in the game. They haven't removed that one. The Deepest Tower is still not in the game, I think. Although maybe there's just like things in the patch notes that they didn't talk about. Yeah, okay. So Ascendancy changes basically right off the bat. None of these really matter. This one's interesting. I don't know how Rage... I don't think this affects me really. Again, the Surrounded. So Constricting got a little bit nerfed, but I don't think it matters too much for Warrior. On the... What I wanted to talk about actually was Temper Weapon. So something I hadn't thought about was using Temper Weapon on my Rolling Slam builds. I put a decent amount of time into theory crafting an auto attack or just like a mace strike temper weapon build in the past, before realizing that you can't really do enough damage. Sorry, they actually nerfed it. So temper weapon used to give you a shit ton more. And actually, let me pull that up and grab it over. POE2 temper weapon. So this is the current scaling. Let me make sure you can see that. Yeah. This is the current scaling on temper weapon. It's showing 0 to 290% of your base attack. This is really low. But the benefit here is that this is a melee skill. This is a fire skill. So anything with melee plus melee skills on it is going to increase the level of this, and anything with fire, same deal. You've got some options on shields to get that extra fire levels. The amulet has extra fire levels versus melee, you're going to get +3. Fire amulet, you can get sunflower, I think goes up to +6 maybe with like a corrupt. Either that or like a +5 more regularly. But the idea is if you can get this up to 40, like literally level 40 temper weapon, it's 1052. That's a lot. That's a shit ton. 12 attacks. This doesn't matter as much. I'm not going to really be using it during mapping. Technically, you could use it right at the start of when you hit like a rare or something. But I'm not sure if I would. I'm thinking more about my boss damage. This now also makes it so that it does, you just get a 1.25 multiplier on your hit as well as an increase in base radius. I think they removed everything in the game that says there's another your empowered hits have a chance to like not apply outside of the support gem. So tireless exists. So maybe if you max this out, and you use tireless, and they maybe add something else when it comes to empowered attacks or whatever. Maybe you can use this during the map. I'm not really sure, but when it comes to bossing, what I'm thinking is I could run. So it would be 4 points for Coal Stoker, and then 2 points for physical taken as fire. I'm wondering if it's even worth it just to run the body armor. Like, it's gotta be with heat proofing. Is taken as fire and then heat proofing as the two. You lose out on the 20% strength. This is going to be a brutal league, I think. Normally, when you start out, you don't go Coal Stoker immediately, so I'm wondering if maybe I won't do that. I'll put, so it's 2 points, and then 4 points, and just leave it there for like most of the game. And instead of maxing out fire res, we max out armor as Ellie. That's looking like an option. But yeah, what I'm thinking is maybe temper weapon is what I was missing when it came to boss killing. Alternatively, maybe some kind of fire spell on hit now that it's got 200 increased damage at level 20. I think fire spell on hit is also a fire skill. So if we go fire, I mean, even if we double up here, maybe it'd be even stronger, but I don't know. A little frustrated with them not kind of introducing anything new just yet, but we're early in the process. They might, release some teasers with something that'll help us out there. Anything else I want to talk about here? I didn't mention that the notables give 200 armor. Flat 200 in my current setup would be flat 800 armor, which is not something to, write off. Like, that's actually pretty good. When it comes to Titan, so the Fisher move, I guess if I really care about damage, I could just go Titan and see how it feels. Especially if these aftershocks end up shotgunning, because then it's actually, this is the solution, right? The solution for my lack of damage is just going Titan, which to me is boring. And then it requires a lot more in terms of gear management. Like, I won't be able to consistently craft the gear that I want, because every single piece is going to need armor applies to elemental. Which that might be fun. We just did 2 smiths this league. It was a lot. By the end of it, I actually went in waves. There was a period in time where I didn't really want to play the character, and then we did the lore run. And then at that point, I was like, let me go back to the hardcore SSF guy. And then we got a weapon upgrade, and we killed all the Ubers. Feel really good about that. So maybe it is time for a change. And we're not going to league start Druid. We definitely are going to try it out eventually. And maybe there's something there that I haven't seen yet. Let me pull some more stuff up. I thought I heard somebody say that Druid Werewolf is going to have stuff that scales with chill. So like their damage is going to scale with chill. And if that's the case, my mind went here. So Venopuncture, all damage taken from hits while bleeding contributes to magnitude of chill on you. So you can just get around that with like, a bunch of max. I don't actually know. I'm trying to think. When I use this, I feel like this didn't really affect me in maps. So maybe I just wasn't taking any damage really, but you can just get rid of this with either an affix on your boots or, points on the tree that reduce the slowing effectiveness on you, etc. But the main point is all damage from hits against bleeding targets contributes to chill mag. So I'm imagining if I want to go some kind of chill bleed build on Titan, and there's some kind of like werewolf chill multiplier damage crossover, maybe Venopuncture is the way to go. I'm hoping, at least. I'm hoping there's more interesting stuff like that, because I used this in 0.2. I messed around with it. Made bossing really easy. I was getting like crazy chill mag by just messing them up with a rolling slam. But it didn't matter. The bleed was basically a non-issue. Just the rolling slam itself was just doing a shit ton of damage. So if I want to go back in that direction, it's going to be through Titan. Smith is definitely getting pushed more towards fire, and in that way, we already have some of that on the tree. Broken armor now applies to fire damage through the molten notable. So we can just get the broken armor through knocking enemies over. So we stun them, and then armor breaks, and then we get the extra damage as fire. So that stays around. What we don't get is, I think we lose out on a 1.5 multiplier on stun buildup if we're going 100% fire damage. I guess I would need to worry about fire pen at that point as well. So maybe we'll be rocking Zoffs on the amulet, but then that's, you're not using the +3 level melee skill gems. Maybe we don't need that. Maybe we go ignite. It's a lot. And then I guess there is a world where we could go Warbringer and actually try out Shield Wall in the endgame, but I felt like I was messing myself up with Shield Wall a bit too much. This I don't know about. So flammability magnitude, let me actually look it up. You change it for 0.3. Fire damage no longer inherently has a chance to ignite. Instead, it inflicts flammability on enemies based on the damage dealt. Flammability is a debuff that lasts 4 seconds, grants all fire damage against the enemy a chance to ignite equal to their flammability magnitude. Okay. So it's just chance to ignite. And then the more you hit them, the more it goes up. So this is just saying we'll have a higher chance of igniting. The one that I pointed out in my other video was this. The Crimson Assault Keystone now grants 50% more magnitude of bleeding. I was trying to do some stuff in POB. This really made sense to me if the old reverberation existed. So at some point I was getting like 7 or even more than 7 aftershocks. And what that would mean is if you get, the Crimson Assault Keystone, and then I tried to time it, I didn't get a full, I don't know if it's 0.75 milliseconds or if it's a 1 full second. Or sorry, yeah, 0.75 seconds, or if it's 1 second. But the delay between the aftershock, if it lines up with your bleed duration, and then it just continues to apply your bleed, I was thinking Crimson Assault could be good. The only issue is I kind of forgot that we were getting, I think I'm getting max +3 aftershocks right now. And that would mean that I would have to have, my rolling slam would have to be low enough that when I hit the 4th one, like it'd have to be like a 3-second auto attack basically for this to like kind of line up perfectly. So maybe there's something here. It just felt like it was going to be a lot more work than I wanted it to be. I don't know. Something here that is going to be a nightmare. So world drop lineage supports are now less common overall. If this is actually what they've done, then Dahlia's is going to be fucking impossible to find. It was already insane. It's probably just, you're never going to see it now. If they didn't include that in this nerf, then that's fine. Okay, yeah. Specific lineage supports have been adjusted relative to others. Good. Hopefully that means what I just said. Again, I pointed it out in the video, but the breach ones got buffed. That'll be fun. What was I going to say here, though? What this means for SSF though is if one of your builds depended on it and you had to go and clear like the anomalous map to get it, now it's just gonna be way less common and way less fun to farm. So I'm really not a fan of this approach. I hope it isn't that much less common. I got mine on my first hit in SSF. It took me like 5 or so in softcore, but uh, yeah, I got my bloodletting pretty easy. If I had to farm like 15 of those in order to see it in SSF, I'd feel pretty shitty about it. I didn't really even think about Calms. I'm trying to remember. Let me pull up Calms. Calms Madness, POE2. So Calms is 3 additional Fissures, less attack speed, less attack damage, less area effect. So now it's only 20% less attack damage. Can you do Fisher Shotgun? Wave versus Shockwave. A rolling Fisher. Let me pull it up. Do Sunder Fisher's Shotgun. POE2. This is saying yes. I don't believe it. Anyways, if it can, Sunder might be Nubis Slam. I'm not really sure. The scaling's worse. Let me pull it up. I could show off something that I haven't shown off yet, which is a Unity project where I imported some of my old stuff to like new stuff, and it essentially shows damage scaling for abilities. And Sunder got buffed by a little bit. I never actually thought about it. Yeah, hold up, sorry. So if the Sunder Fisher's shotgun, how much is Calms? Where'd Calms go? So that's 3 times damage. And then 20% less, and then another 20% less, so 40% less. So how do I do that? Is it just 2.6 then? No. 3 additional is 400%, right? 200%? 200% increased. So it'd be 1.6, I think. Or no, sorry, 2.6 multiplier, maybe, on Sunder, which should maybe get you there if they all shotgun. The only issue is you're using Sunder. And let me see. Is Sunder at 20% more? An additional 20%? That could be enough, man. I stopped using Sunder as in any part of my setups just because you get less damage throughout the stun duration. But basically, if you use the same exact setup I was doing, you replace Rolling Slam with Sunder Armor, you're now also going to get an extra 20%. All right, might go this route. Kind of forgot about that. We'll see. You can also use Sunder for mapping. It's really, really safe, especially if you get a good amount of area of effect. It doesn't increase like the width; it kind of increases how far it goes. You start clearing shit off screen. Anything else Skill changes. None of these really mattered. Limits. People were talking about like Earthquake, this being a buff to Earthquake. I don't know if they knew what it meant. Might be a buff to Earth Shatter, but Earthquake, the issue there was that you couldn't really hit an Earthquake on top of another. You're not really placing too many Earthquakes, especially in the end game. Like you can, the quality increases that limit. It's not really too bad. Ancestral Cry, I was weirded out why they did this, and then I saw that the Druid might have it. So I think they're trying to make something, some kind of crazy volcanic build for the Druid popping off this league. They're buffing Armor Breaker. I don't know if we're ever going to use it. It's just easier to knock. I guess we could. We'll see. It's like a 20%, 20% buff. Maybe it's good enough. Again, I went through most of this yesterday, but again, didn't want to play too much today. I played a lot of POE2 recently, and I'm just kind of chilling, especially with the announcement of the non-announcement, right? The lack of end game changes kind of they at some point in the video they pulled up the Atlas tree and it was the same one. And then they were showing the Abyss has like its own thing. And in my head I was like, no way. No way are they about to say that they didn't do it, because I knew that everybody would freak out, and they didn't. But I mean, they showed the temple first, thank God. Temple's really good. I think. We'll see. Oh, this. Supercharged Slam. I don't think we're ever gonna fucking use this thing, but maybe. Supercharged Slam aftershock delay is way faster, so it can't do like the bleed thing that I was thinking of there. It just hits way too quick. Wind Dancer got nerfed to shit. I don't know if it's gonna be cut in half. I was using it for like life leech and armor break, so I don't think that really matters. I'll probably still rock it in some way. Ooh, the Adorned could be a passive, a way for me to get my damage back. Probably not, though. Let me see if there's anything that helps physical damage. I didn't even think about that. Immobilize. Is Immobilize? Target is immobilized if they can't move. Immobilize enemies at 50% stun buildup. No, at 50% buildup instead of 100%. Enemies immobilized by you take 20% more damage. And you get skill speed. This is a pair of gloves that you could double corrupt. What are glove corrupts? Sorry, I'm blanking right now, having... Okay. Glove corrupts. Go straight... No, what is it? What is this? It's all three? Fuck. I don't know if that matters. They don't have it on PoE. Whatever. I'll have to go one by one. Oh no, it's corrupts. It's fine. Damage penetrates elemental, break increased armor. There's a melee skills corrupt. Oh, but then you're losing out on melee skills. These are the gloves I'm looking at. So if we have a double corrupt league, uniques get infinitely better because you could just buy like a really shitty like low cost unique and double corrupt it. Um, there is one that's plus 1 level. It's all melee skills. You could get break armor as well for the second. I don't think reduced attributes is global, so I think it'd be just on the gloves, but could be good. This is 25% more on heavy stun, some attack speed. I don't know. Missed that one for sure. Finds of Destiny got buffed, could be strong defensively. Hammer of the Faith is interesting, like I said in the video, but like nothing too crazy, I don't think, in terms of what we're gonna see from like people aren't gonna use this over rares. Brass Dome. Lightning Coil we didn't talk about. I think Lightning Coil could be insane. You can just go that Titan, right? To Lightning Coil. Yeah, you might be running this on Titan. 50% of physical damage taken from hits taken as lightning. Uh, Kind of insane if you care about physical damage taken. I don't think anything else really moves the needle here. 20 seconds. Ooh, I did not see this one. This is the one-handed mace. So Molten Blast might have gotten a massive buff here. I really didn't want to use this unique because it was fucking annoying. You'd have to like you'd have to attack every 6, but more than that, you'd have to hit every 6. So if you just went through like a period of time where you were running across the screen and there were no enemies, it would just fall off, and it takes a long time to stack up. So the Unborn Lich. Oh, that's the staff from the Kulamok. That might be really cool for people if they're interested in like more niche builds. That stuff got giga buffed. I did see all of this. I was wondering if I had to go through. Like, I'm assuming this one's the. Let me just pull it up. That's the most speed one. Yeah, so I think they hit all the like really strong ones, just limited them all to one. They buffed some others. Heat proofing. Did they mess with the fire one? How do I check? Socketable fire. Sorry. Oh god. They didn't. So maximum fire is not limited. That should be good to go. I don't even think about the nerf in consistent like base weapon damage, but it'll be around 10% dropped from the essence of battle, going down from 6 to 5 shouldn't be too crazy. Endgame, I didn't actually look through all these. So let's see. All tablet modifiers that would roll on the generic can now roll on all. Gotcha. These were disabled. Wait, what? I'm sorry, what? Wait. So we're getting 30% less items? How did that one get through? I haven't seen anybody point this out, but I haven't really been looking too much. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, okay, okay. That's what this is. Um, so that, I think, though, is making the difficulty increase as well. I thought that was toughness, though. So we'll have to see what effectiveness is. Um, Scale pack size as you increase in tier. They instead increase non-unique monster effectiveness. Effectiveness grants monsters increased life, experience, and quantity. Okay, so this isn't toughness. Because it doesn't increase their damage? Is that how it used to work? Maybe I just don't know what toughness is in POE2, but anyways. Hopefully this is the replacement for quantity. I'm going to be looking for effectiveness on your maps. Oh, that's okay. That's brutal. It's on a tablet though. Oof, I don't know. When it comes to hardcore, this is a fucking nightmare mod to run. All this getting buffed is fine. This ritual. Everything just got buffed. The floor got buffed at least. I didn't actually look through any of these changes. But we'll take a look more in-game when we actually get to play them. Monster changes, nothing too crazy. This is really weird to me. Rage meter next to your mana globe. I'll have to see if I could see this. I've never looked at my stun meter in my life. Hopefully this is way more easy to see than that, but the rage, where rage was, I feel like it was pretty easy. Maybe they changed it though. But yeah, I mean, with what I've seen in the patch notes, is basically all I've been thinking about. We're either going bleed. We're either going, sorry, if we go Smith, we might look into bleed. But more likely it's going to be fire. And fire could be interesting. I just haven't scaled the I'm trying to think here. We could go Doriani's, and then there was something that equates lightning to fire, like the lowest. That's not Rockiatas, is it? Rockiatas. No. Rockiatas is elemental inverted. I guess I could just go that. Okay. We'll take a look. There was a version of, then you wouldn't go Smith if you go Doriani's for fire. But if we could get like negative 200, and then you just boost your lightning damage reduction by some, I forget, there's a way to make it like not as punishing on yourself, and then also just using armor. Hmm. We'd have to max it. No, I don't know. It like synergizes and then it doesn't with Smith and Kitava, so we're a little fucked there. I don't know why they didn't have any druid stuff in the patch notes themselves, but Yeah, a little brutal. You can go to the websites. Let me actually go to it. This is Path of Exile 1. So on the announcement page, they showed off some of the skill gems from the stream. This is, Fizz is cold, but then like Giga Chill Mag. Um, I think again, it's just not here. I don't know who talked about it scaling off of chill magnitude, but if there's some kind of damage killer there, I'm looking forward to it. This one just grants you a ton of extra damage gained as cold damage. Ferocious Roar is something that maybe could be worth it. So attacks empowered by socketed skills deal 48% increased damage. That's something you're not getting from like your base Warcry. You just then have to have a weapon swap into a bear, I think. You got Devour for which one's this? This is Power Charge Gen, yeah. Yeah. Spell Totem people are having an issue with. Makes sense. Druid might be fun to play. Even if it isn't like too good. I'm guessing there are gonna be insane builds for it, but just from like a mess around with it perspective, I feel like it'll be a lot of fun. Warbringer Growl. Wait. This guy? Ferocious Roar Warbringer? Exploding. This is just all damage. It didn't get tweaked too much, but Warbringer. Ooh, wait. What was I gonna say? Uh, I messaged somebody from one of my other videos on Recoup. Where'd it go? No, it wasn't Recoup, was it? It was. We've talked about in the past how certain modifiers work with Warbringer's shields. The fact that you can pass, let's pull it up. POE2 Warbringer. This one. Turtle Charm. So you take 20% of damage from blocked hits. When you pair that with certain modifiers that give you physical damage mitigated is turned into life recoup, it gives you insane life recoup values, and they've added it as a socketable physical. I don't know where it was. There were so many changes here. I think yeah, let's go to socketables. So defensively, Warbringer could be insane. I don't know, where was it? Where did I see that? Oh, was it Lineage? No, it wasn't. It was a thesis. Where's thesis? Okay, they just didn't show it here? Or did I spell thesis wrong? I don't think they showed it. We'll go POEDB in a sec. Oh, we're here. Okay. This one. 25% of physical damage prevented recouped as life. This is in body armor. If you put it in the belt, the Abyss belt, you can get 50%. We'll go to the unique real quick. Uniques, armor, coop. Wandering Reliquary, you're already getting 50% here. So that will get you 100%. And then you can pull up Trying to think. Is there POE2? Tree. Yeah, there is. This one made to last, so 25%. So you get 125% of physical damage prevented, recouped his life in 0.4. If you don't want to run this, you get less, but you get access to like whatever you want. If you don't want to run the belts, there's not too many of these, right? This belt. Because I wonder what other body armor options we're going to have available. Body armor, you recoup based on offerings. I don't know how many more of these there are going to be. There could be another insane one, but this is okay. This ancient augments, you only get one of these. So you'd have to put some other socket bowl in your belt too. But I mean, I don't know. I haven't been. I liked playing the campaign as Warbringer, but there were so many times when I was using Shield Wall that like I would be running and then I would accidentally just automatically just kind of cast Shield Wall in front of me, and then I'd like fuck my pathing up, and then it was player error, but it was a lot, man. if I feel like Smith will be fine, and then if Smith doesn't work out, I think Titan's gonna be pretty good. I might just level as Smith and then yeah, swap Titan, like I was saying. Then who knows, if my character dies really early, maybe I'll just do whatever, get into the end game, learn the temple mechanic until we get to kill Ziri, and then like swap early and play hardcore SSF maybe like from the start. It'll be a lot of fun. I didn't realize I'm actually pull this shit up. POE2 ladders. I get to flex a bit. They have ladders, which I did not know was a thing. If we check hardcore SSF Rise of Abyssal, and we could scroll down, or we could just check for Smith. And 179, there's a level 97 Smith who died. 281, another Smith who died. And then there's me. So I had no clue this was a thing. I saw somewhere, either in the patch notes or the QA, somebody at GGG had said, if you want to do ladders, you need some way for you to lose experience. Otherwise, ladders just become, how long have people played how quickly. On hardcore, I mean, it makes less sense there just because if you die, you're dead forever. And softcore, it makes sense because, a one way to show your skill off is not only how quickly can you get to level 100 or whatever, but it's like, if you're not constantly dying, you just get there faster as well. But super happy with this. Had no clue I was going to be able to do it. And then technically, when it comes to like what your class is versus, I think I'm like top 15 warrior. Everybody above me, I think like most of them were Titans, and then there was one or two Warbringers. But yeah, I mean, this is something I could focus on instead next league, where like, oh, let's try to aim for like the top of the hardcore SSF ladder, and just see where we get. But this is insane to me, actually. Only 17 players in 0.3 got to level 100 in hardcore SSF. And I don't know if I know any of these players. But if I'm looking to do more content in this, niche, maybe I should. Quinn shit at everything. Oh, shit, man. Quinn Clown God. Dude, oh, it's the same guy. Wait, what? The same guy has a level 98 Titan, and where'd he go? Where's the other one? And a level 99 Lich? How many other people have multiples in the top 100? Is that actually Frogger? God damn, dude. Does he have more? There are 3. He's got another. Where is it? That's great. He's got a third, man. Quinfat both regarded. This guy has 2 of these? Why? Maybe, I mean, maybe he leveled on a different one and then he ended up on like that one could have been his Titan or Smith or Warbringer or something. That's crazy though. I feel good about my placement, but it's more from a, how I've approached it perspective, not that I'm like a god gamer. I was just surprised. Especially knowing from 0.2, there were so many people playing Smith in hardcore because it was really easy. And it still is pretty easy this time around, just a bit harder to gear up. Yeah, we'll see if the Made to Last and like that new gem tech just makes it into other options like outside of Warbringer. Something else that got buffed or changed. I don't know how to pronounce this, but the shield off of Olroth. So this can go from 0 to 20%. So 0, I mean, let me pull this up. Was that not what it was initially, I think? Chance to block damage is lucky, as well as cast on block. So maybe we'll get some kind of cast on block builds coming back. And I guess that might be more up Warbringer's alley. Maybe not. There could be, this doesn't count as melee, right? Yeah. There could be some kind of Giga Firecaster, Smith of Kitava. You cast on melee, you cast on block. I think there's another one. Just a bunch of crazy meta skills. I don't really know. I could go up. Let me see if I can find this. To edits. I wanted to see the before. Yeah, there we go. Sliding comparison. Cool. Somebody made this. I don't know if full screen works. Let me see what you guys see. Oh, dude, with the Smith hammer would be pretty nutty. Anyways, so okay, so I can't move it. This is just like whatever the screenshot was in the video. When I looked before, it looked like the warrior tree didn't really get touched. And I think what you're going to see is in this area. Yeah, so down here, there's not a connection. And then in 0.4, there's this new path. And I'm assuming it's fire. So it might be better, if we're thinking of going Smith fire builds. And then I think there's something else over here. Let me see. Yeah, there's this new wheel right here. This kind of looks like slow reduction or something. I don't really know what that is, but probably nothing too crazy. And then the only other thing I wanted to point out is this wheel right here used to be way higher up on the tree for this is ignite. This is plus maximum fire res, so it might actually be that Smith gets another +2 max fire res really easily, especially if you're coming up here for blood magic. But I mean, obviously everything in the top left quadrant got like built out a bunch, so maybe I'm underselling how much this could affect Warrior. Well, when it comes to what I was excited about, I thought they'd keep kind of iterating on the passive tree a bit more, but seems like they're kind of like locking in on classes that are already in a good spot. I mean, this is why I thought maybe Zoffs could be good for Smith. 100 fire res is insane. Minus 25 fire res to enemies is like okay, but like you're losing out on the plus. This is essentially replacing +3 to melee skill gems. And I think you get a shit ton of max life still, like rolls up to 20. So Zoffs could be really strong. Oh, and then it's a double corrupt league. Yeah. We might. Let me pull up Amulet Krebs. I think there's a plus. Yeah, okay, so there's one of these, and then maximum all res. So we could giga gamble on those. That could be fun, especially if it's cheap. So I'm excited. But that's gonna do it, I think, for tonight. If anybody has any questions before I bounce, today's stream was essentially just to hang out for a bit and answer questions if anybody had any. But otherwise, I'm gonna head out here real quick. Again, I went from playing a shit ton of PoE in 0.3 to now just kind of wanting to cruise through this final week. I could pull up my character and maybe we'll do that next week. I don't really want to play tonight. But we still have to do the simulacrum, 100 splinter, 150 splinter. I'm probably not going to do that. That was an option though. We could do the lore run on the Titan, where we got it left off in the interludes, and there's a bit of lore there, but I think it's kind of stopgap. I don't think it's going to be like canon. So it might not be worth it. I thought there was going to be more as well. We already kind of like talked to a few characters in town. But yeah, just hanging out. Nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully breaking down more mechanics on their own instead of looking at it as like a whole here's everything all at once, guys. Especially towards the end of those videos, it does get a little it started to wear me down where they're so broad that I think I could do a better job of just kind of honing in on one thing. When it came to the armor video that I put out recently, it was pretty interesting. I might do more stuff like that. I also pulled up my character, which was a Warbringer who had just gotten to the interludes. And I wanted to compare it to what I said, and it was around 4,800 armor. Whereas I think I said by the end of Act 4, you want like 400 or 4,000 armor. So it was like pretty close to what I'd expect. But again, when you start like putting out content that says like this is exactly what you should do, and the game changes and it's not exactly 1-to-1, it's more of like a guideline. Some people get angry, so we'll see if I keep doing content like that, or the easier one is the one I put out today, which is basically I knew it was coming. I don't know how much it was going to affect my build, but like my build got tanked by the bloodletting nerf. I think I'll be fine. I mean that plus the boss burst removal or whatever. I think this game's gonna get a lot harder. So we'll see. We'll see if I make it to end game as or we'll see how far I get into the end game as a hardcore player in later, but yeah. So it was I was worried when I was watching the live stream, and then when I heard it, I was like I knew it was going to be a brutal kind of ask or like I knew the community was going to react like super poorly to it, and it's like I get that, and I think I'm going to feel it as well. If I don't have enough fun in the temple, um if the temple is enough fun for me to just kind of focus on that for a bit, if there's enough chase there where like maybe it's actually difficult to replace your entire body with the like have a full on like cyberpunk new body, that might be fun to like try to get my character to, especially on hardcore. You always get to just have those bonuses. So I don't know. I'm hoping that'll carry me. I'm hoping the end game map changes aren't too bad, but yeah. Anyways, thanks to anybody who stopped by. Again, quick one tonight. I'll be back I think on Monday. I'll throw something together, maybe some more gameplay. But really focused on 0.4 launch and see where we go from there. So anyways, again, thanks as always. Catch you guys later. Peace.